Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission study session for Monday, August 9th, 2021. I'd like to thank the commissioners for your presence tonight and for your volunteer service to the city. We'll start with the study session agenda, item A1. We're going to welcome Roger Neal is here tonight. And so welcome, Roger.
Thank you.
Typically what we do is we go around the room and sort of give a little bit of background about ourselves. So I'll start. I've been on the commission maybe 4 or 5 years. So I'm in my second term. I've been chair maybe 2 or 3 years. I can't remember. 2? All right. And I've been a citizen of Farmers Branch for 50 plus years. I moved away for a short amount of time and then repented and came back. And I am currently the executive director at the Firehouse Theater. I do consulting work. I have 3 grown children, 3 grandkids plus 1 on the way. And so that's me. Commissioner Brittle?
So I'm Linda Birtle. I've been here 47 years in Farmers Branch. I raised 4 children here and graduated from school here in Farmers Branch. Then I raised 3 stepchildren here who graduated in Dallas. So I've been here a long time. I'm on my 3rd house in Farmers Branch. I'm retired. I am in my 2nd term. And I'm a year behind David as far as serving on the council here, the commission, and that's it. Life is good.
Plenty, that's plenty.
Yeah.
Bonnie.
I am Bonnie Petraza, and I am just started my first official term. Prior to this, I was an alternate that then filled a vacancy, and so this July I am appointed to my first term, although I guess I've been on as an alternate or filling somebody's position now for 2 years. Right? Yes.
Probably about that,
Yes. And I have lived in Farmers Branch for 9 years. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. It'll be 10 in February. I've got 2 kids. They've got 8 and 10 years old, and they go to school in Valley Ranch. They were in Farmers Branch School, but we transferred to another Carrollton Farmers Branch school. Prior to this, I served on the library board. I grew up in Carrollton, kind of did a little moving around, and then landed back here when we finally bought a house.
Nice.
I'm Amber Rayleigh. I just recently moved from being an alternate to being officially on the commission. And only moved to Farmers Branch about a year ago, so fairly new, but with some intentionality of selecting that. Prior to that, I lived in downtown Dallas for a number of years, and then before that in Atlanta. And my background, I'm actually working presently at University of Texas at Arlington on a PhD in urban planning and public policy. So I take a vested interest in these sort of things. And I work at Dallas College and the Labor Market Intelligence Center. And we have a daughter at Ursuline and are very excited to be in Farmers Branch and for me to serve on the commission here.
She also was an alternate and
Yes.
moved up recently. I don't know
Yeah.
what recently is, but
I was gonna say, you probably find as alternates, you move pretty quickly into the regular appointee status, because I think you started out, alternate 2, and then moved to alternate 1, and my guess is maybe the longest serving alternate since we've had that, because we've got Pat's now a regular member, and Andy's a regular member, and they started out as alternates and moved up pretty quick, so.
So it was so I took Michael Driscoll's
Yes.
seat whenever he declared, which would have been about 6 months after, because he would have declared in February. I would have been appointed in on or about February. I would
Right.
have been appointed in July. Although, as an alternate, I think there was only 1 or 2 meetings where I didn't serve as a voting.
I would agree.
Even I filled it before I was officially appointed to regular position.
How do we, oh, go ahead. Never mind.
So Roger.
Well, I'm Roger. I'm Roger Neal. Nice to meet you all. Happy to be here and look forward to working with all of you. A little history about me. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. Lived there for many years growing up, and I moved here to Texas about 25 years ago. Been living here in Farmers Branch for about 4 years. I'm currently married, no children right now. I run my own small IT engineering business, just a small group of guys, do consulting work around the U.S. And I'm happy to be here on the commission with you all. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer for you.
Awesome. So he'll be voting tonight, I assume?
Yes,
And I believe I'm an alternate, so.
Right,
correct.
yeah.
Okay.
But I do have a question. So we went to, because I went directly to and you did too. So we've only used the alternate system when we changed the number on the board and then declared you could only serve
2
for 6
or
years.
something, yeah.
Right, so we recently implemented the alternate system probably about, probably 2 summers ago. And, because the thinking was that, well, the council was going through I guess you'd say, right sizing of boards or more consistent sizing of boards. And so we had, I think originally 9 when I first started here, and then we lost a position, and then they ended up making the commission 7 regular members plus 2 alternates. And the thinking with the alternates was that you would have the opportunity to rotate in. You'd still be able to participate in all the discussions, but when it came to voting, if there was a regular member that was absent, then the alternate would get the experience that way by serving, and voting in the regular member's absence. And it's worked out well for us, especially like our quorum numbers. Our quorum is based on 7. So when we have, a regular member that's absent, then we have the alternate alternate 1 automatically slides in and votes. And then if we have a second member absent, then we have alternate 2. And so it's worked out well for us. And we thought we were going to have another alternate. Unfortunately, they resigned because they had a family matter to tend to. And so we'll work on getting the alternate 2 position filled. So I've already been in contact with the city secretary on that. And so I think she's got it slated for council's meeting on August 17th. So we'll get hopefully an alternate 2 person appointed at that time. And then so they can also start serving as
So the
well.
quorum is 4.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So it's based on the regular number of members. So since the regular number of members is 7, so quorum is 4. And so, so even if, if one of these folks that are regular member status absent, even with you, you'd be able to satisfy the quorum. So, because you're rotating in, so.
So Atlas Cheek is the one that resigned?
Right, unfortunately,
He never even made it.
so yeah, in fact, I was supposed to do his commissioner orientation this afternoon. We had it rescheduled a couple times, and we were going to do that this afternoon, and I got notification this morning. So they have a personal family matter that they're having to tend to. So just felt like that he felt like he couldn't dedicate the time and effort needed to serve on the commission, and that his time is needed right now to be able to serve the needs of his family, and hopes maybe sometime in the future might be able to serve whether it's this commission or another boards and commission member. So so hence why we had Atlas's name included on the agenda item, but we just learned of it this morning. So.
All right, item A2, discuss nominations for the chairman and vice chairman to the Planning and Zoning Commission. As you'll recall, maybe 1 or 2 meetings ago, we elected Gio as vice chair, but now we're in the normal time to do that. Actually, the normal time would have been the last meeting, but we had the joint meeting with the city council, and that sort of threw things off. So that's on our agenda tonight. We did speak with Gio, who was unable to be here. I think he's on vacation, but he is interested in being vice chair, since he only did it 1 meeting. And I would be interested in being chair again if that's what you guys want, or if anyone else is interested. Speak up.
Ooh, I think
All right.
you're the best.
Fine.
You're it. Yeah.
So that one's good. A3, discuss regular agenda items. We pop over to the regular agenda items. C1, we talked about election of chair and vice chair. C2, consider approval of the attendance matrix. Did everyone have a chance to take a look at that? Everything looks good on that. All right. C3, consider approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes and take appropriate action. This is of our meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission. Did everyone have a chance to look at that? Was everything in order?
Just skimmed through for me.
It was not as close of a lens as typical based on the earlier aforementioned issues, but yeah, it looked right to me.
Super. C4, consider approval of the joint City Council and Planning and Zoning Commission minutes. Everyone have a chance to look at that? All right.
Did have one question, at least when I attempted to also view the video recording, when I click on the video recording for the joint session, it actually takes it to our session, that was later. Could be a personal error, but, I usually like to review the video when I review the minutes, and was unable to do so in this case.
All right.
We'll get that investigated and get that corrected.
Okay.
Super.
You're an overachiever.
She'll be the one to find the misspelled names.
So,
We haven't had those in a
gone, yeah.
while,
I was
so.
gonna say, yeah, we need Tim's replacement,
We
don't we?
need some
Yeah,
misspelled
someone would-
names.
Everything was misspelled. yeah.
C5, consider the request from XTRM Capital LLC for the final plat of Dallas Semiconductor Business Park 3, lots 1 and 2, Block F, located at 14354 Proton Road, and take appropriate action. Any questions? It's a pretty simple plat. So, all right,
Chairman Brian will be making the presentation this evening.
awesome.
Yes.
Super.
And item D1 as well.
Ah, great, thank you. D1 and C5. All right, well, we gotta ask Brian some questions. So,
Hot seat here.
his first presentation, so. Let's see, so no questions on C5. Moving on to D1, this will be where we're asking lots of questions. Conduct a public hearing and consider the request for a specific use permit and associated detailed site plan for a restaurant with drive-through service on an approximate 4.84 acre property located at 13005 Josie Lane, and take appropriate action. So this is a restaurant where they will tear down the savings and loan / bank that's been empty there next to the dental office, and replace it with this salad restaurant, I guess.
Yes.
Right? And there is no kitchen, is that right?
That's correct. And we did just this afternoon receive 3 letters, 2 in favor and 1 in opposition. So those weren't included with your packet. We just got them this afternoon, but I did have some copies.
Super.
2 in favor, 1 in opposition.
Yes.
Any other things that we need to call our attention to on this?
I don't think so. I think it's fairly straightforward. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Okay, I know it talks about, we're not actually setting a lot for this, it's just kind of a part of a general lease, was the way I understood it, so.
That's right.
Super.
And that's not uncommon. Sometimes some businesses prefer to subdivide the property and plat it as an individual lot. In this case, the owner probably is wanting to continue to retain ownership of the parcel, and so hence the ground lease arrangement.
So the owner of this particular spot, what else does he own there? How much does he own on that property? Does he
So-
own all of it?
Yes, so in addition to, yes, that building, he also owns the strip center.
That's what I'm asking, the strip center.
Correct.
Just the strip center, so that strip center's in two parts. Does he own north and south?
all 4 acres or?
Yes, he does.
All of it?
If-
But
I
not
believe it's
not the backside?
No,
Well,
Just the front?
actually, yeah, he
He owns
does.
the backside also?
Right.
he does. Okay.
Oh, my.
Right, so Mr. Clausen owns that property, and so the parcels along the front, the 4-acre subject property, as well as the multi-tenant center that's immediately to the west, actually, both multi-tenant centers that are to the west. The westernmost one includes the Marshall's Barbecue, I know is one of the tenants that is in there, but he owns all of that, including as far west as, you might have heard us refer to it also as the Dark Chase. building, the old Chase drive-through that's back there way in the back, that backs up to the adjoining single-family residential neighborhood. So he has all of that property and some probably even further, a little bit further to the south. But he's been a longtime owner, and so we've been working on some potential redevelopment opportunities, this being one of them. And there will be a case eventually coming before the commission in the future regarding one of the farther properties farther west. But we've had conversations with Mr. Clausen about a phased redevelopment approach and investment within this particular quadrant of Valley View and Josie.
Great. Any more questions for Brian?
Does this restaurant have any other, do they have another restaurant like this?
They do. So they are prevalent in the Arizona area, and maybe the applicant can speak to that as well during the public hearing. I know they are expanding into the DFW area. There's one located in Plano. I've happened to driven by it. Some of my former coworkers actually enjoy eating there, and I was like, well, that's good to hear because we're getting one in Farmers Branch potentially. I know they have approvals in Richardson. And are repurposing a building there. And those are the only two locations I know of, but the applicant may be able to address that also.
Great.
If there's no kitchen, Brian, how does that work? Is it all fresh? I mean, but you still have to, is there no chicken breast salad or?
And so the applicant can address this question.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge, everything's prepared off-site.
Off-site?
Like a
Correct.
commissary.
The kitchen
Interesting.
facilities are off-site.
Okay.
That's how like Sunny Brian's does most of their barbecue and
Really?
commissaries and just delivers it out to their locations. And
But if you only have two sites, that's a pretty,
well, you've got one in Plano, one in Richardson, and one here. And, then,
there's three sites.
and they said that they've got. She said they got something approved in Richardson. So they're just
Okay.
expanding. That is a model
Interesting.
that I've heard of in other restaurants.
So they, I'll just ask them, so.
Great. Any more questions for Brian?
So one of our people that complained, or a vote no letter, I don't know what it's called. So they're talking about traffic, noise, and trash. So there, I didn't see how there would be more traffic, more noise, and more trash. I mean, I think if we're going to have a letter that comes in, at least we ought to look at it and maybe talk about it.
Sure. The applicant may be able to address that from a business
Okay.
operations standpoint as well, but, yeah, I would defer to the applicant for that.
From what I saw, I think it was a drive-through only, right?
Yeah.
So there could be traffic, maybe driving through there, maybe getting in and off of Josie Lane, maybe that was their concern. I don't know if you've ever seen some of these Chick-fil-A's around town where the traffic really gets out onto the
They
main
hope
street.
there's much.
Maybe that's a
traffic, yeah.
concern, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's, yes, so this is actually replacing an existing drive-through bank.
Existing business that was there, it's been vacant for a while, but it did have a drive-through.
It did have a drive-through
So
also.
hopefully it will create more.
More traffic for the area. I mean, I would hope so. Yeah.
I would agree. And
Yeah.
as for trash, I mean, they're taking it with them in their car, so.
Right, yeah.
I don't
I
know.
just didn't, the noise, I don't see that it would, I mean, it's not even close to a house. It's right in the middle of a shopping center.
Well, and it's in a retail center that is underutilized, and in theory, you would expect, should you live near a retail center, that there will be some,
Bring more people in.
I mean, right, what's your preference, that it become repurposed or that it completely degrade, right? I mean,
Yeah, sure. But I mean, I just, that's my question. I don't know that it,
it did not elaborate a lot.
yeah.
If I could help elaborate a little bit on the traffic concerns. So I have not spoken with the resident who sent the letter. But one of the things that with this operation, being that it's predominantly a drive-through restaurant, folks could walk up and pick up their order. Because there is a place for them to be able to park on site. But majority of their business is done as drive-through. So the drive-through lane, the way it's designed is it can actually accommodate, I believe, 22 cars within the drive-through because
Wow.
they've got the dual lane. So I know the reference being made to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
Many restaurants are going to that operation where they have the dual lane and then you funnel down into the single point to be able to pick up the food. So they're no different from that regard. From a trash standpoint, you're right. Much of the trash would be taken with folks because a lot of it's and the applicant could probably speak to what percentage of their business is done through the drive-through window versus walk-up customers. It's our understanding in talking with them that majority of their business, like a significant majority, is done through the drive-through. So you're right, that most of the trash, if anything, will be taken with
Right,
them.
right.
There is a new dumpster being proposed on site to be able to accommodate any trash needs that are generated by the restaurant itself. But also from a noise standpoint, I think, given the location of where the drive-through restaurant is in proximity to the any residential areas, I think it'd be well buffered and have adequate separation, including, if there was any concern regarding noise being generated from the menu boards, the placement of where that is. I would not anticipate any noise that would be any substantially greater than the cars that are out on the neighboring Josie Lane.
That's a pretty
So
big
we
lot.
are 4 minutes away from our start time, since our fancy clock is 10 minutes behind. So I'm going to
Okay.
jump into A4, discuss agenda items for future planning and zoning commission consideration. Anybody have any additional items? No? All right.
Here's what we have.
Then I will close this meeting at 6:56 PM.